Hey everyone, this is Indiana here with Emptoraudio. Today we're going to take a look at all three models from Arylic. Well, not every single model they make, but the past few models that I've had a chance to review. So going from oldest to newest here, I've got the Arylic A50 Plus, the Arylic B50, and finally their latest flagship, the H50. Now, if you're wondering the differences between these, there's actually a number of differences as well as a number of price points. So the A50 on top here goes for about $200 retail. You can of course find it a little bit cheaper here and there as there's different sales. Arylic offers a lot of, 10% off, 20% off sales here and there. Whereas the B50 is the cheapest model here, although arguably I think it's probably one of the best picks out of all three of them here, not for just being the cheapest, but because it just has so many features built into it. And it retails for about $140, $150 depending on when you buy it. And on the H50, I think I saw like a $20 or 20% off sale. Well, looking at all three of these units on the faces here, there's definitely a huge difference depending on what you want to use these for. The Arylic A50 Plus is kind of more of a hidden unit. It's not really designed to be front facing, maybe on an entertainment center. It's designed to kind of be hidden away. I've even seen some installs of these in racks, kind of hidden back inside more of a rack room. It's of course designed to be controlled over Wi-Fi, just like pretty much all of these units can be, and you can basically control it over with a remote as well. There is a power light on the front here, and then the IR is going to be over on the left. Moving on to the B50, of course you got a very clear IR zone, although it's not the prettiest looking. It's definitely kind of the most standout-ish of all three of these. Even the knobs here are slightly different between the B50 and the H50. As you can see on the H50 we have a smooth knob, and we can see just the feedback, or the tactile feedback here of every time I make a slight twist, whereas the bottom here with the H50 is about the same feedback wise, but we have a nice little, I guess what would you call it, serrated or kind of bumpy knob here with a bit more texture to it. My preference, I would say they both feel about the same, rotating them. However, the H50, that kind of texture on there is actually a nice little touch. Now, one of the biggest differences between the B50 and the H50, and I'm not going to get into every single feature and difference between these, there's a lot of stuff when it comes to these Arylic units. There's so many features and stuff just packed into these units. But the biggest features are, of course, the H50 has a new DAC chip, a new Bluetooth chip. These both have phono inputs, which is pretty cool, and the H50 actually has a 2.4-inch OLED screen on the front, which actually I think is pretty neat. However, though, if you had to ask me what looks better from a distance, maybe easy to read, I think the screen would probably be a bit easier to read at a distance, but the simplicity of just having a light above the mode here, I think, is just fantastic, or the input. It's just very simple, nothing really to go wrong here, and it does the job. They both have exactly the same on-off switches, really no huge difference there. All right, moving to the back, this is where things take a little bit different of a turn here. Looking at the H50 and the B50, where the H50 is going to be on the bottom, there's not a massive difference here on the back, although we do add a LAN port on the H50 is going to be your one major difference. Of course, we both still have DACs, that reset button. All three units do, of course, have a Bluetooth and a Wi-Fi antenna built in. Of course, they are 2-channel with the exact same 5-way binding posts on here. We do have a phono input on both of them, a line-in input as well. We do have a ohm selector on the H50, which is pretty neat. Both have sub-outs and optical inputs. We both have that nice HDMI ARC input, and then both have USB as well. Now, if we look at the A50, it's going to be a little bit more tight up here. There's no 5-way binding post. Instead, we have a Phoenix connector. I'm not a huge fan of Phoenix connectors unless it's on commercial stuff, because then they're really easy to change out. But they're definitely not the best type of connection material to hold in speaker wire. It's just not my favorite. You can't really put much thicker wire in these either. They kind of max out, I'd say, at around 16 gauge wire. If you try anything larger than that, it's definitely going to be a bit of a challenge to get into there. But of course, we do have a micro USB, we have an optical, we have a line in, we also have a subwoofer out, USB, and Ethernet. So acoustically, we have 50 watts per channel on all three of these units, so there's not really a difference there. The B50 and the A50 Plus to me sound almost identical. There's not that big of a difference. Just the B50 has, of course, some more inputs to it. It's going to be cheaper, and I definitely think it looks better just cosmetically myself personally, whereas the A50 Plus is kind of more of a solution unit. It's not really designed for, you know, just putting out on a desktop or an entertainment center. That's kind of where the B50 really shines. Now the H50 is going to be more of the flagship. It's got all the boxes checked on there. It's really trying to look just really, really good and clean on that faceplate. Now, if I had to say, hey, which one would I pick up myself? Well, the H50 has all the boxes checked, all the bells and whistles, and it does sound better. But the B50, in my opinion, is a fantastic deal at around $140, $150. So, you know, if you want the best sound, H50 is the way to go. But if you don't really, you know, mind maybe a little bit less sound quality, but to save a good amount of change, definitely pick up the B50. Whereas the A50 Plus is definitely going to be kind of in a league in its own as a solution product. It's not really designed to be for two-channel listening, but of course you can use it that way. Whereas it's going to be more of a network-controlled device, and it could be just, you know, hidden away. But if you're trying to hide a little amp somewhere, maybe behind a TV, this is definitely the way to go. This is going to be a great little solution product for you, and it's not really in the same league as the B50 or the H50, but I thought I'd include it anyways in case you're wondering what the difference is there. So guys, thanks for watching. Let me know if you got any comments below, any questions. I'll be happy to answer them. And take care, guys. Have a great weekend,